don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman, because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, there, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Sorry for being absent last night, but we are back. This is episode 203 of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. As always, Kate is at the controls, making sure that everything is running smoothly. We want to thank you for tuning in and giving us a bit of your time, because we understand that that time is valuable. And you could be any place else, so we are honored that you are here with us. We have a pretty big show planned for you tonight. I've got a lot to say about the various topics that we're going to be discussing, but before we get into that show, I do want to ask you to please take a moment, either before the show starts or towards the end, but doing it now would be just as easy. Go down, and if you would, give us a like. Tickle that like thumb button and come on up and let's enjoy the show. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. You can subscribe for absolutely nothing. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button. Once you do that, it will allow you to then click the bell and set up your notifications if you want to get notified when we go live, or get notified when we release shorts or static videos. That's how you can set that up, because you guys are pretty familiar with what our schedule is here. Generally, we work 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday. However, we do sometimes go live different times or release other static videos. So it would not hurt for you guys to click that bell. Also, we are a very interactive show. As most of our long-term listeners know, we love to hear what you have to say and what you're thinking. So please, if you are watching live, consider interacting with us and commenting over there in the live comment chat box. That would be fantastic. If you're watching at your convenience on your time on replay, then comment down there in the comment box and we will get back to you either way. But most importantly, please help spread the message, sharing the show with everyone you know. That is what helps us the most, and it helps to get the word out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we have 2 big topics tonight that we're going to be discussing. Only 2 of them, but these are going to be big topics, and I have a lot to say about both. Right up front first, and before anything else, we're going to be discussing the Muncie City Board of Works meeting that occurred earlier today. We had a Muncie City Board of Works meeting that was underway at 9 a.m. this morning. We're going to go through that Board of Works meeting, and we're going to let you hear what we generally hear. Now, I will tell you that the meeting lasted a little bit longer than it normally does. Generally, they last around 5, 8, 10, maybe 15 minutes if we're lucky. Today, the meeting lasted a whole 24 minutes. But that's because yours truly was there and was interacting with the folks, and we kind of went back and forth, and I have a lot to say about that. Besides that, and after that, we then will kick into the Henry County side of things, as we will be discussing a brand new, just released Fox 59 news story concerning the Henry County Sheriff's Department, and moreover concerning their pursuit that they were in April of 2024, where an off-duty Henry County Sheriff's deputy activated his emergency license sirens, initiated or attempted to initiate a traffic stop, and then initiated a pursuit in which he pursued the vehicle without supervision into Muncie, Delaware County, Indiana, and that, as we know, resulted in a fatality. So we're going to be talking about that as well on the back half of the show. So, my friends, if you know anyone that's interested in either of those topics, you're definitely going to want to get them here. This is going to be a very, very big show, and we want to get as many people here that need to hear about this or should hear about this as possible. I'm going to click over here so I can see what you guys are saying. I want to welcome you all to the show. Diane, Joe, K-Mama, Joe Black, Joey, Charlize, Stumblefoot, GW Plays. Let's see who all's here. Dr. C is here. Brenda Greider. Jeff Hagar, Paula Lyons. Thank you. Alva's here. So, yeah, welcome. And we're going to get right into it because we have a lot to talk about. Welcome to all of the rest of you that haven't commented and that I can't see because you're hiding out down there. John says, what all? Maybe that's what's up all. I hope that's what's up all. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I like the way that you're thinking, GW Plays. I'm currently counting 38 viewers, so there should easily be 38 likes. But, you know, it is what it is. We will also, on the back end of the Henry County story, I will come back and talk to you all about what you guys are currently saying about the Knightstown police. So I will star what Diane said up there, and we will come back and talk about that as well. All right, so let's get right into it, folks. Hello to all, but I can't stay. Just wanted to say hi. Hi, Cindy. I hope you'll come back and check this out. Have a very interesting story about the Muncie City Board of Works. I don't even know where you live. Are you in Anderson or are you in Muncie? I don't know where you live, so maybe you won't be as interested in this.
She's Madison County, people.
I thought she was.
Oh, look.
You know, there are a couple. Hello. What's
He's
up?
live.
You're
Wave
live.
to everybody. Say, everybody enjoy the politics tonight.
Enjoy the politics tonight.
I love it. That's one of the several kids Kate has running around at home. And always happy to see them down below. No, I always get her confused because there are a couple people that are like, watch this, that are really good friends with Catherine, that like are very interested in both Muncie and Anderson. So I kind of get them confused from time to time. Cindy's in Anderson. All right. That's what I thought. All right. So for you guys that are here, I don't know if you remember last week's Board of Works meeting or not. I told you guys when we watched last week's Muncie City Board of Works that I was going to attend the Board of Works meeting today, and I was going to kind of just see what all played out, and that I was very seriously considering chatting with them about a concern that I have. It is a concern that I have brought up to the Muncie Board of Works several times. I've brought it up under this administration. I brought it up under the administration before this administration. So it's not like this is the first time that I am talking about this. This is something that I have discussed multiple times. And, I just, I don't understand why they don't comprehend what I'm saying. If you have not watched this, I hope that you're going to be disgusted by what you see and what you hear. I will tell you, I've heard from multiple people today that have got word of this or watched this, and they have all been very, very bothered. They've been very concerned, very upset, very bothered by what occurred in this meeting today. Before we watch this, I do want to take just a second to kind of run down and show you what goes on in the Muncie Board of Works, okay? And I want you to understand this. So the city of Muncie, like many other municipalities and various other city, county, town governments, have multiple boards that are very important to the running of the government. You have city and town councils, county councils. You will have county commissioners meetings. You'll have redevelopment commission meetings. You will have planning commission meetings. And when you have a second-class city or a third-class city, you have what's called a board of works, a board of public works, a board of public works and safety, or a board of public safety and public works. It's called various terms. And the Indiana Code allows for this board to be made up of anywhere from 3 to 5 members. All right. In Delaware County, in the city of Muncie, our mayor appoints the 3 Board of Works members we have. So our Board of Works meets 1 day a week. They meet on Wednesdays, and they pay the claims of the day-to-day claims that are paid in the city of Muncie. So for the utilities, like who pays the light bill for all of the city buildings, who pays the heat bills for all of the city buildings, the people who, if the police officers need to go to training and they're going to, they need to have a daily stipend while they're there, and they eat lunch or supper. They take care of those bills, and they're the ones that approve those bills. So the Muncie City Council is the fiscal body. They deal with the budget. They set the budget. They approve the budget. And then the Board of Works is like the stopgap between the city council that sets the budget and says, okay, you've got this to spend, and just total lawlessness. They're the ones that are supposed to be going over the claims and making sure that things make sense. They also are in charge of agreeing to contracts, taking a look at bids, and going through that process. Now, I want to be very clear. All right. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it there, Kate. The council sets the budget, and the Board of Works make sure that they stay on budget, make sure that they're not, or are supposed to be making sure that they're not doing a bunch of crazy things. I don't know if Muncie's Board of Works members have ever got the memo. If those of you in the city of Muncie recall, it's the Board of Works and their actions, or the lack thereof, which resulted in what eventually led to the FBI investigation under the last administration. And here we are, just a little bit later, one term and a couple months since that past administration, and we've got nearly the same problem currently going on. We have an administration which is under investigation by the Indiana State Police for issues of a full-time employee billing the city, turning in invoices as a contract employee, and these invoices have been paid, and the people that have signed off on that payment, the people that have voted on and approved that, ladies and gentlemen, have been the Board of Works. Now it's been paid out of edit, so the mayor is responsible for it as well, but the Board of Works go through these claims. I do want you to know, for the record, I still have not received my request on these. I did send out emails to everyone that I have record requests through, either yesterday or today. And so I've said, hey, this is what's outstanding. You guys need to get on the ball. All right. So before we get started, I want to show you this. All right. Here is the list of live streamed City of Muncie meetings, all the various meetings. I want to show you, here's a Board of Works that I have blacked out here, right here in the center, from Board of Works meeting May 1st, 2024, 11 minutes and 4 seconds. Here's the one from last week, 4 minutes and 8 seconds. All right. Here's the one from today, 24:19. Now, I have went in and talked to these people on multiple occasions, telling them, you guys need to spend more time going through these claims. Because look, the meeting was 4 minutes and 8 seconds, but they only went through the claims in a minute and like 22 seconds last week. So, all right, without further ado, we're going to play the meeting and we're going to let you see what happened. And I want to hear what your thought is. I'm going to blow this up so you can see this in full scale, and we'll go from there.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the May 15th meeting of the Muncie Board of Public Works and Safety. If you'd like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you to all who are attending in person and online this morning. Lacey, if we could have roll call, please.
Beth Baker.
Present.
Maurer.
Present.
Linda Gregory.
Present.
Okay, thank you. We've been presented with the minutes from the May 8th meeting. If we could have a motion to move those forward.
Yeah, I would move approval of the May 8th minutes as presented. I'll second.
Okay. Do we have any comments or questions? Anything presented? A great job as always.
Great job at all.
Having none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. The minutes have passed and will be entered into the record. We also now have the consideration of the register of claims. Invite Mr. Craig Wright, City Controller, to come forward.
Look how nervous Ted is. I'm in the back staring at him.
Good
Morning.
morning.
I sent out the claim.
All right. So he says I sent out the claims at 1:29.
Yesterday afternoon, and just wanted to highlight a few of them here. It's usual utility claims, and this was the week that we had, like, to Indiana, Michigan Power, the traffic signals and street lights. And we did have a $48,757 claim to Stoops Freightliner, and that's because we had to put a new engine into the aerial truck. So Burford called me before the meeting and said, hey, that I just wanted to make sure that you knew about that. So it's, and our usual health care. And with that, I will open it up to any questions you might have.
Okay, Linda?
I don't have any.
Lola?
No.
Okay, great. And does that, for the Stoops Freightliner, what, does that just come out of their budget?
Pardon?
Does that come out of the budget for the Stoops Freightliner, for the fire engine repair?
Yeah, the EMS, it came out of the fire department line on that.
The capital, okay. So do we have a motion?
How new it, or What's the age on that truck? Do you know?
I couldn't tell you. It's one of the aerial trucks.
So we've had those for a while, I think.
So I couldn't. I could certainly find out.
Oh,
how
that's
old
all right.
it
I
is,
just was
and-
curious whether, what do those trucks cost new? Do you recall?
With today's costs, and because there's only one or two companies that produce those, so that's $1 million, close to it.
Wow. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the claims?
I move approval of the claims.
All right there. Move approval at 3 minutes and 8 seconds. So 1 to 2, 2:29 would be a minute. So you got a minute and a half here, folks. 1 minute and 1/2. Let's hear what the total is.
For $867,900.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion second. Do we have any comments or questions?
$867,900. Now, let me tell you, today, this meeting, this amount happens to be on the low end. Okay. This is on the low end. 867.9. Let's just call it 868. $868,000 is on the low end, and they approved that in 90 seconds. And I will give them some credit. They did ask about a half-assed question about, the age of the aerial truck and how old, and they didn't even know the answer. They didn't get the answer, and it didn't matter. It don't matter. We're going to vote through anyways, whatever, So I just want you to understand that's the type of questions that we're getting. That's $9,643.33 per second. All right. Maybe ask the question because I was there. Is there any alcohol that's going to be served with that fire truck? All right. Now let's move on to the next process in this board work. So they're going to vote, and it's going to happen.
Having none, all those in favor of the claims signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carried. Thank you, Craig. Do we have?
Are 329. So 129 to 229, 329. So 2 minutes, and they're done with claims. All right. Let's see what happens here with the rest
Have
of
anybody here from Forever Lasting LLC?
Nobody's there from
Okay,
forever.
no, we're going to just keep that tabled until we'll keep it in unfinished business.
Yeah.
So we have a few authorizations for noise and street closures coming here. First one is a noise exemption authorization for the Desert of Indiana Prince Hall Shriners. If you could state your name and your request, please.
I'm sorry, name and,
Your request, what's your?
okay. Hi, I'm Danny McGee with the Desert of Indiana Prince Hall Shriners, the Deputy of the Desert. And we are asking that you permit a noise ordinance for our organization who's bringing a convention to Muncie, Indiana for the weekend of May 30th through June 2nd. I have here with me the convention center. We're going to have, I know,
Center's here.
I've listed 600, but I know I have 300 registered guests right now, so that number will come down. That was just the estimation. And so with that many guests being at the convention center, we were just asking that a noise ordinance be permitted.
Are you going to be,
Inside or outside?
are you going to be, that's what I was just going to ask, inside or outside or?
We're going to be inside most of the time. That Saturday, weather permitting, we may do an outside event, which is like a local band or not DJ for the guests. We're also having food trucks, as you can see in the next permit
Okay,
that we're requesting. So, we're going to be all right there in back of the hotel. I mean, the convention center and hotel.
okay. And this has been filed through Chief of Police.
Yes, sir.
Yep, and he's given his approval for this.
Yes, sir.
So thank you for working with him. It kind of gives us a
Yeah, right.
understanding of.
Thank you for groveling yourself, but before the police to ask them if you can have a party. I think not.
where you're going with this. So
And can you tell a little bit more about the purpose and goal of the event?
The purpose of, we're Shriners. We are,
No, it's a Masonic organization. We can't give you any secrets, woman. This guy better be careful. They're going to tear out his tongue and bury him in the sands of the sea.
basically, our initiative is the betterment of mankind and charitable contribution. We go from the event is a gala day, which will be Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Canada, Wisconsin, and Illinois.
Oh,
And we go from state to state each year. And I'm bringing this into Muncie, Indiana, to bring in some economic dollars along with charitable contribution. We'll be giving money away to a local entity here in Muncie, along with donating diabetes socks. Our initiative is diabetes for this year, so we're looking for a facility or nursing home to donate socks to that local entity.
okay, great.
Great.
Do we have a motion to approve this noise exemption?
I move approval of the noise exemption.
I'll second.
Okay.
all right. They've approved the first
Do we have
noise
any-
exemption.
We have a motion and a
Of the
second. Do we have any comments or questions?
It's going to be
on this?
interesting to see what happens
Okay,
from this.
having none, all those in
forward.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carried. And for all of these, we'll have your signed documents, the ones that have been approved with Lacey after the meeting. Okay, we'll
Okay.
sign them and then
Thank
fill out. So, okay, the next we have an application for street closure
Yes,
for
sir.
the same, and.
So they go through the street
Go ahead.
closure, everything
Howard
goes
Street.
the same.
That's the 8 hour.
They give it to him.
To approve this request.
They give
I
him
move
everything.
approval of the street closure.
Agenda, a noise exemption authorization for the Fraternal Order of Police.
Whoa, now we have a noise exemption for the police in Muncie. Let's listen to what this is.
Lodge number 87. I bet you're Michael.
I am, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And state your name, please, and then your purpose.
It's Michael Rafus, Rehfus.
That's absolutely.
And Michael, what are you requesting here on the noise exemption?
We're on, so starting June the 10th, we are having a Fraternal Order of Police conference. It's a state conference. We're bringing it here to Muncie. It's never been here in Muncie before. It's something that you have to go to all of these conferences, and we put in a bid to get it. We actually won. So we've been planning it for a long time. So the noise ordinance would actually be for June 11th, which is a Tuesday. We are having our big dinner and everything at Canaan Commons.
Listen to what they're getting ready. This is going to be amazing. Listen to what they're going to have. Now, listen, I get it. I was the popo, so I get it. And there's nothing on this earth that comes between police and a party and being able to have some fun, tear it up, drink, carry on, get naked, and run through the streets of Muncie. I get it very much so. But they're going to have this, not out at the FOP, which is where I thought they were going to have it. They're going to have this in downtown Muncie and then say, "Oh, it's not you gotta be the police before you can get in." Listen to this. This is crazy.
Already rented Canaan Commons for that time. We're going to have a tent put up on Canaan Commons, and we're having a live concert with 16 Candles is the band. They'll be here from, I don't know who they are either. So
How many have ever heard of 16 Candles before? I've heard of the movie, but
I've heard of the movie. That was it.
I remember the song from the 60s.
Yeah, I had no idea who the band is, but we're having them. The concert will actually start at 8:30, but we
come on.
wanted the noise exemption for earlier because there are probably going to be about anywhere from 250 to 400 people on Canaan Commons. That's where we're having our big dinner and everything. So the concert will go until 10:30, but we wanted it to go till at least 11 or 12. That way, clean up and everything. We don't want it people to have problems with that.
Please tell me she asked the cops.
And is this
Will there be alcohol?
It's open to the public?
So there's a couple of interesting things that get ready to happen here. Number one, she's getting Lola Mauer's getting ready to ask if this is open to the public, and I love his answer here. Number two, yes, Linda does ask if there's going to be alcohol here, and they make a big hoo-ha about it, and so it's amazing. And number 3, wait until you hear his next request. His next request. I know, Stumblefoot, I said I want to go crash the party. Wait till you hear what they say. I hope that you can see, I'm back here, I'm in the back. So this is me writing out some documents right here. And it's a little blurry right at this time, but I hope that here in just a second, it clears up and you're going to actually get to see my face when he says something here in a minute. It was ludicrous. All right, here we go.
Blake,
No,
concert.
the concert is not. No,
Okay.
the concert, we have wristbands for all of the law enforcement officers that are coming to town, and the people who are in charge of the state FOP. Everyone will have a wristband, and then we're also, like, other members of our lodge will be invited, and like the chief's office, all of them, they'll be invited to it because they all pay into the Fraternal Order of Police. So they're all invited and their families, but it's not open to the public now.
The downtown.
But we're also not going to stop people if they're sitting out on the other side of the street. We're not going to do anything with them. I mean, that's free. I mean, whatever.
I usually ask for most of our noise exemptions. Do you anticipate alcohol presence?
Yes, there will be alcohol present.
But you will have plenty of police coverage for it.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been waiting to say that for years, haven't you? Okay, great.
We always ask that just so that sponsoring organizations think ahead of time about consequences.
We've gotten with excise police, and we're getting all the permits for all that stuff and everything. So,
yeah.
Great. Do we have a motion to move this forward?
I move approval of the noise exemption as presented.
Second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Same. Okay. Motion carried.
I'm going to pause this. I'm just going to show you really quickly where this party is going to be. This party is going to be right here in downtown Muncie, around all of this area. Here's homes and things. They're going to have a band playing right here, and you can't listen. You can't come to this party unless you're the police. And now they're not going to kick you out, apparently, if you put some lawn chairs here, or if you put some lawn chairs here, or if you put some lawn chairs here, or if you sit over here. So I say we line this area right here because this is public. Matter of fact, I'll be really honest. I don't know how they're going to bar people from this area because this area is a public area. I am shocked that they're not holding this at the FOP. It blows my mind. I mean, they've got their own center where nobody goes back to, and it's in the middle of like nowhere. The reason they're doing this is because here's the hotel. Here's the hotel, so they don't have to have the police out here drunk driving and carrying on. So they're going to let people, party it up here and then walk across. Now, that then brings us to our next... That's going to bring us to our next question. So they got the noise exemption so they can party it up here and keep people out of this public space. Here's the hotel they're going to want all of these drunk popo to stay at. I want you to listen to what his next, and I don't mind him. He's an all right guy. I want you to listen to what his next request is. Absolutely amazing. Okay, let me get this going here.
And we have a street closure application for the same event.
They're asking for a street closure. Now, when I heard that, I was like, for what?
Yes. So if you could explain the street closure real quick.
So the street closures, so I should go back. The conference is actually the 10th, 11th, and 12th. We'll be at the convention center all of those days. That's where all of our board meetings and everything will be during the day. But the street closure is for the concert. We didn't want people because we have people at the hotel, and then we're also providing transportation from the other hotels to bring people down there that are at the other outlying hotels. We don't want people walking across the street having to worry about cars and everything. So we're asking that the road be closed from Charles Street
Up,
to the roundabout
making a face.
on Walnut Street,
I wish you could
just so
see it.
we don't have to worry about traffic or anything like that.
You don't want men and women that they literally give guns to and put in holsters on their sides. And they, not even the United States military can take the life of an American citizen, but a law enforcement officer can take the life of an American citizen if in the right circumstance or in the wrong circumstance, depending on how you look at it. But they're afraid of these men and women walking across the road. They're afraid. We need to block an actual downtown road. We need to block a road so the police can cross the street.
They're police. They just walk out in the street, hold up their hand, and expect everybody to stop. Come on.
Hey, there's no jaywalking in Muncie. You can do what you want. I could not believe this when they were saying, like, I get the noise ordinance thing, but I cannot believe this when they said this.
Anybody getting hurt. So
they don't want anybody getting hurt.
And have the businesses around there been notified or will be notified?
once I get the approval, we've talked to downtown development. She told us that was a good idea to tell everybody, and I'll make contact with everybody and let them know.
Okay, great.
So this is just on Walnut, not Mulberry.
It is just on Walnut. Yes, we're not closing down Mulberry.
Okay, and
oh, thank God they don't want that. They don't want to close down the entire city. Just the main thoroughfare through downtown Muncie. They're not closing down everywhere. They're literally just closing down Muncie's main drag, Walnut Street here, the divider of the whole county, the main road in Muncie from north to south. They're just closing that. They don't want to close. They're not closing all of this. I'm obviously kind of taking the piss here because whatever, it's going to be for a few hours. It's not that big a deal. But I just couldn't believe that they're like, we didn't want anybody to get hurt. How? You guys are off duty. And no one should have their gun. Everybody should be good. No one's going to be hurt. What do you mean? Who's going to get hurt? You're going to get hurt by cars? If you're so drunk that you can't cross the road, you should probably be worrying about more than the cars.
the time is in military time, and I'm translating here. So 7 to 11, is that correct? Or 4 to 11? Yeah.
It's, yes, I'm sorry, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Yes.
They're going to close it from 4 to
I'm sorry.
11?
That's
You
okay.
need to close the road in case
The way you operate.
horns.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a motion to approve this
How drunk
application
are
for
they?
street closing?
Yeah, I move approval of the application for the street closure.
I'll second.
Okay. Any comments or questions? I just want to thank you on behalf of Muncie, as we're working hard to bring this convention and your convention here both to our community. It does make a difference for economic dollars, and it is those are good things that happen. So thank you for your efforts to make
This
that
is a new
Okay, all those in-
age in policing. I'm going to tell you something. Back, ladies and gentlemen, when I was on the police department, we didn't shut down roads for parties. I'm going to tell you that. This is a new day for policing. I'm telling you that. I have never heard such a thing.
favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. And then we have one other order of business, the bid opening for the
All right, that was fun. Now we go to the bid for opening tree trimming. All right.
annual tree trimming. Gregory is,
I have my handy dandy little slicer.
You just swipe
we have
off.
one bid, is that
One
correct?
bid.
Okay.
One bid.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
While she's opening, could you explain what this would entail, please?
Adam Leach, city engineer. So Ms. Gregory is opening our annual tree trimming bid. This is also for tree removal, tree maintenance. Basically, this is for public works, any tree removal in the right of way. We annually do somewhere between about $20,000 and $60,000.
I just can't ever see him anymore without seeing him in that picture in the shower. I don't care what's going on. When I hear him sing and talking, all I see is him in the shower.
Worth of tree removal just for trees that, come down in windstorms, trees that are a hazard, that are, in the way of road work, low hanging limbs, that type of thing. So, honestly, my guys are not arborists and we have limited staff. We do cut down several of our own, but this basically just lets us continue what we've been doing. My Tree Sons had the contract previously. Best practice is to try to award these at least, every 3 years is kind of the best practice. This is an annual contract, so long as the rates don't go up, the rates as seen will remain until such time as the rates go up. There is a provision in the contract to negotiate said rates. We will have to basically mutually agree upon them. So they'll say,
for all of you that are here currently, we're wrapping up. We're getting ready to wrap up this Board of Works deal. Then we're going to be going into Henry County and the news story. So sit tight. That's coming next.
If, for instance, it is awarded to My Tree Sons based on whatever the bids are, and a year from now, they can come back and say, well, our costs have went up. We'd like to raise prices, whatever. It will get brought back to this board. The board can say yes or no. And, if they say no, we go out and get another bid.
Does this
They
board
can.
This bid is
Can
for My
they?
Tree Sons from Ridgeville. Do you want me to read the price list
they?
or?
Will they?
You can for the record. I mean, it's fairly extensive.
Okay. Basically, they are removal.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm so disappointed in Linda Gregory. Linda Gregory used to be a Muncie city councilor, and she used to be the one that was the stickler. She would hold all their feet to the fire. It doesn't matter if they were Democrats, didn't matter if they were Republican, didn't matter who they were. She would hold them to the fire. She has become such a disappointment. And I honestly wish that and this is going to be really offensive. I'm just getting ready to say some really offensive words here because I just want you to know, and I want everyone to know, I respect my elders. I have, I don't even like saying that I have elderly grandparents. I look at my grandparents, and even though we're talking to them today about the fact that, they are getting older, but I still don't see them as elderly. I look at them and they're like in their 50s to me. When I see my grandparents growing up with them, that's how I look at most older people. I just don't see people being old. Old is, to me, I have family members that used to be 90 and 100 years old. To me, old is 95, 100 years. That's old. Being 70 and 80, that's not old. But I'm just going to tell you right out flat, the old folks home needs to stop and pick up Sherry Riggin and then beep beep at the city and pick up Linda and take them back to wherever they came from, because they are both two useless old bags. I'm telling you, I have never been more disgusted in an elected official. She's no longer elected. She's appointed now, but she used to be elected. I've never been more put off by an official today than I was Linda, just because of the fact that I know what she used to be. I know how she used to be. And so the fact that I don't know if it's, I'm being serious now. I don't know if it's old age. I don't know what the deal is, but the fact that she's lost who she used to be, it's time for her to say, thank you. I can't do this job anymore. It's ridiculous. Okay. And I'm preemptively getting more mad just because I see her up there on the screen, but it's coming. Here we go.
Amounts for trees of various diameters. And it ranges from 150 to 2270. Tree limb removal at $25, 40. 55, 70, and 85, again, depending on the size. And then there are hourly, those are unit bid prices. And then there are hourly rates for trimming, stump grinding, and high hazard tree limb removal. Those are all at $132.45.
Yes, they are doing good, Karen. Thank you for asking. They are doing
And would you expect any other bids to come in for this?
I wouldn't. We did advertise this on the website for about 3 weeks. Don't technically have to, but we did anyway. We also emailed this out to, excuse me, several of the local arborist type companies. Obviously, we only got one response. That's likely due to our insurance requirements, which once again, state code says we have to have a $2 million general liability. That's not necessarily something your average tree care company has. My Tree Sons does because they've been doing work for us. So that's, excuse me, probably the only bid we will get. I would recommend we take it under advisement and we can.
We'll take it under advisement then, and it will be here for you to pick up there.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, do we have any other comments or questions? Yes.
rock and roll time.
Hello, Kristopher Bilbrey. I would like to bring to your attention a concern that I brought up many times in the past, and that is the amount of time or lack thereof that this body spends on the claims while on the record. Like, for example, last week, the entire meeting lasted 4 minutes. Routinely, you guys are in and out in 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. And if you look around the state at cities comparable to our size, some smaller, some larger.
Now, look, in all fairness, and with all due respect to the Shriner here, who's looking at me like he's like, who's this crazy dude? Mr. Shriner, I don't know where you're from. I don't know if you're from the city of Muncie. I don't know if you're here for your Shriners deal. But with all due respect, sir, take your stupid ass face and walk out the door. If you don't know anymore, like I get that you don't understand what's happening, and he's like really disappointed and doesn't understand what I'm saying. But keep it to yourself, all right? And Mr. Sergeant Rafus back in the back there, I know you're buddy with the other people, but, you know, sitting back there smiling and checking your watch, like, save it, dude. You literally, Rafus, you worked for the police department while all of the crazy, unethical crap was going on under the other administrations. Why didn't you step up, Mr. Law Enforcement Officer, and do the right thing? So all of these people here who are, you know, higher off and better than I am, they can stick that as far as I'm concerned. And neither one of them have a clue what I'm discussing here. So I hate their faces because of what they're doing. It is what there is. I can let them go on that because they're not intelligent enough to know what's happening. So follow along or keep your face to yourself.
That is not the norm for the Board of Works, specifically for the Board of Works and that deals with claims and the city's day-to-day and week-to-week expenditures. And one of the reasons I bring this up as a concern specifically now is because we're all aware currently that there is an investigation into the city for, for what we know exactly, we do not know yet. But some of those concerns have surrounded claims and claims being turned in from someone that was quote unquote a contract employee. And I just feel that if those claims had been, I mean, they're obviously claims that would come before this board. They are all claims that have came before this board that you guys all approved at one point or another. And so if it in fact turns out that there is an issue, these are all going to be claims that you guys voted on. So you guys are basically signing your name off on these actions. So,
all right. So let's pause here and let me kind of explain what I'm talking about here. So it's very important to understand that when the State Board of Accounts came in last year and the State Board of Accounts said, hey, wait a minute, we have Dustin Clark, who is a full-time employee with the city of Muncie. And Dustin Clark has been from 2021 on, last year was 2023. So 2021, 2022, and the meeting occurred in August of 2023. So you've got at least, 8 months of last year. So for two and a half years, Dustin Clark was a full-time city employee who at the same time was submitting invoices to get further money. The Board of Works, when they were in these meetings last year, quickly going through and quickly approving them. Once I get these records, I'm going to pair them back up and I'm going to go back in and watch the Board of Works meetings. And I'm going to see if they ever discussed any of the claims that Dustin ever got paid for. And if they didn't, that's a problem. And that problem falls on them. All right. And they know that. Linda knows that. I don't know if Ted knows it or not. He seems confused. I don't know if Lola knows it, but Linda knows it. And that's what's important here, because at least during one of those years, Linda was the president. Okay. So while Linda was the president, they were approving claims that the State Board of Accounts is now, for a fact, if nothing else happens, the State Board of Accounts said what Dustin was doing from 21 through August of last year, 2023, was wrong. So we already know that. Now, if something happened from August of 2023 till now under Greenlight Resources, and I will tell you, I'm aware, without any records, am currently aware of at least 3 invoices that Greenlight Resources sent through. If those turn out to be problems, which in my opinion they should be, because if they were a problem when Dustin was doing it before,
I think we've ended up finding 5 of them, Kristopher.
Okay, 5. All right, so 5. Okay, 5 of them then so far, and I'm pretty sure that there are more, but we've not been able to find them from hearing what sources have said. We'll just have to see when I get the records. But that's at least 5 more claims that the Board of Works have voted on. That's a problem. Now, what I'm getting ready to ask them, or what you're getting ready to hear, is how I think that it could easily be taken care of, and I'll explain to you how. Because I get ready to be done and walk away from the podium, and then Linda decides she's going to ask me a question. So let's listen here.
I mean, I guess I would just, again, you're going to do what you're going to do, but from the public's perspective, I would just like to ask that once again, you guys consider spending a little bit more time in depth going over that. I know the answer always is you guys spend a lot of time at home looking at paperwork, but.
Okay. And so real quick, what I'm asking them is to simply spend more than 2 minutes on the claims. If you look around the Board of Works in other communities in Indiana of similar size to Muncie, both a little smaller and a little larger and of the close to the same size, they're spending 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours on these claims. They're spending that time in meetings that are at 5 and 6 and 7 o'clock at night, not 9 o'clock in the morning. So there's a lot more oversight into this. And I'm not asking them, hell, don't even change the time if you don't want. I'm just saying, spend a little bit of time, because when I've said this in the past, and you're getting ready to hear me say it again, I've been told by Ted Baker, well, we can't spend that much time. Some of us have to get to our next job. And that's when I've said in the past, well, if you can't be here to do what you need to do, then maybe you should resign. So that's all I'm asking them, is to spend more than 2 minutes on the claims. And apparently they think that that's ludicrous, because Ted has told me before, well, we don't need to do that because we spend a bunch of time at home doing that. Well, first of all, I don't care what you're doing at home. It's not on the record. Second of all, if you're talking to each other while doing that, it's illegal. And third of all, it doesn't matter what you do unless it's on the record in front of the camera. I don't care what you're doing at home. It does not matter.
What you do at your home doesn't matter. What happened?
And when I told him what you do at your home doesn't matter, I hate that you can't see it, but Ted like shook his body like he was like cold. He like shuddered and he rolled his eyes and he looked at me. So I'm getting ready to like kind of get shitty with him here. And that's the reason you guys don't get to see that, but I saw that.
What matters is, sir, when you're on the record in here in front of the public's eyes, what you're doing at home in your easy chairs, I mean, it might matter to you, but it doesn't matter to the public. So just something for you guys to consider.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I have a question or comment.
So Linda has a question or a comment. Okay, fantastic. Now I'm stepping back to the podium to hear her question or comment.
What exactly is it you want us to do? What are we not?
Well,
in our current analysis,
I don't know what your current analysis is, Linda. Why don't you describe what your current analysis is, first off?
If that's not sufficient for you, what do you suggest we do?
Well, like, for example, I've been told by members of this board that one of the three of you, that you guys have to get in and get out because you got to get to at least one of you has to get to your next job. Walking in today, I noticed that this room has already been booked for 9:30. Say you guys had business that went over that. The reason this room's been booked for 9:30 is because it's known that these meetings generally last 4 to 10 minutes or less. You know, this one has been longer, but if you look at any of the other Board of Works.
That's not my question.
Okay, I'm going
what
to tell you.
What specifically do you want us to do that we're not doing currently?
Well, you could go through the claims.
At that moment, what popped into my brain was your damn job. Do your damn job. That's what popped into my brain. But I figured I would be a little bit more politically correct.
With a little bit more than hey, I've emailed you 5 claims and 3 of these you might want to take note of. Okay, vote. You guys vote. And today you guys went through these claims. Can you tell me how much you spent today? How much
$897,000.
And you approved that in 2 minutes.
Yeah, because we had no questions.
Oh, well,
okay.
What is this dude down here? Like, he's like on board with these people, like he's known them all. I mean, I don't. This dude down like this is what's wrong. I didn't see this going on, obviously, because this guy's behind me. And I have absolutely acted enraged with this because I've called them all names or whatever. And it's because it's what pisses me off. This is the ignorant public that I am talking about, folks. This is the guy that probably lives here in Muncie. And he probably voted to reelect Dan. Dan's doing a great job. And he doesn't have a clue what's going on. He's looking all mad at me and he's perturbed for them because how dare this guy sit up here and ask these people questions while he doesn't have a clue what's going on. Now, I could have ran him down in the parking lot and been like, wait a minute, sir, let me, did you know that this is going on? Did you know that the state board of accounts is in here and saying that this shouldn't happen? Did you know that right now these people's boss, Dan Ridenour, has his right-hand man off on administrative leave, and he's being investigated by the state police? And these are the people that ran after the last administration had the FBI here? Does that probably would then piss him off? And he'd probably be like, well, you don't say. But they don't take the time to learn. They just sit there with their stupid faces and their stupid thoughts, thinking everything is fine and dandy and all's well. And here's this loud ass, fat ass kid up here at the podium talking about things that he doesn't know. Meanwhile, I'm the only person in this auditorium that has a clue what's going on here.
Well, my question is, I wonder if he's ever been at or watched a Board of Works meeting prior to this one, because he's there to ask them for something.
Well, let me tell you this. I got there a little early today, and I listened to him and the person that was sitting with him talking, and I didn't recognize him. Okay. And one thing that people don't understand is I have a really good memory for faces of people that are dealt with in government. I don't know who this guy is. That means absolutely nothing. Okay. That means nothing. The fact that I don't know who he is means nothing. I've not seen him in a city. I've not seen him in a city meeting. I can tell you how many of these meetings that I've watched. I don't know that I've seen him here before asking for this. Maybe this is something new. Maybe this is the first time it's been to Muncie. I don't know. I would be willing to bet what you're saying is quite accurate. And I'll say that's probably not fair on our part to sit here and to assume that this guy's never been here. But he's certainly sitting there and assuming that I'm in the wrong, So I will take that same assumption and put that back on him. I have never seen him here, and I think you're right. He's never set up there. He's never. I don't know that he's. Who knows if he's ever watched these at home? But if he's watched them at home, if you're someone that doesn't know very much and you're just watching them and you say, "Oh, there's another 4-minute meeting," when I asked how much money they had spent, he mouthed it along like he knew the answer, which was very weird. So he's like, I sat in here and listened to what they had to say. I'm like, great. What's that, man? Are you okay with that? You're okay with nearly $900,000 being spent and no questions being asked? How are you okay with that? It's absolutely hilarious to me. All right.
Specifically want to know what you think we are not addressing.
Well, I think that maybe if you would...
I don't know if I could make it any clearer in here. I don't think that you're taking time with the claims. I can say it 3 more times, and I could probably learn how to say it in French and Russian. But what don't you understand? I'm telling you, I don't think you're taking time with the claims, Linda. You're not taking time with the claims. Why is it that 3 years ago you used to ask questions of everything, and now you don't hardly? The only question you're concerned about is there alcohol there?
Would go through the claims.
She cares about the lunches.
What do you mean go through the claims? You want us to read it?
What'd you say?
She cares about the lunches too.
The lunches, yeah.
That's food and alcohol.
Right.
That's the
food
thing.
and alcohol. That's fine. You're right. Absolutely. Okay, so all right. So what? Let's listen to what she said here.
Specifically want to know what you think we are not addressing.
Well, I think that maybe if you would go through the claims.
What do you mean go through the claims? You want us to read every claim?
Sure.
Well, we could do that, I suppose. That would probably take us till noon at least.
Okay. I mean, okay. So it's 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12. So if you're saying that it's going to take you 3, listen, I sit and I go through the claims, and it takes me 10 minutes to go through the claims. It takes me 10 minutes to go through the claims. But if it takes you 3 hours to read what takes me 10 minutes, then by all means, be here till noon. Okay. Like, I know Linda's got nowhere else to be. Okay. If the other two people on here have jobs that they can't do it in the evening when you should be doing it. Okay. Like, maybe consider that. But let me make it a little bit easier for her here. Hold on. We'll let you hear that.
Oh, no. I mean, listen, honestly, you don't have to go through listen, here's the deal.
Well, you said we need to read every
Sure.
claim.
So I guess some common sense would come into play. So, for example, if you guys are paying the expenditures, paying on credit cards, and you guys are paying the light bills here at City Hall, I think those are pretty standard operating procedures, what you guys do. But when you're looking at paying the claims for green light resources, when the State Board of Accounts had already came into the city and had already issued a ruling on the person who is with green light resources shouldn't be billing the city in the way that they were doing, that's an issue. So, I mean, we can talk off record if you want to, because I'm not going to say any more about that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
That's great of you, Linda. You're not going to talk off record. So, again, another reason why these minutes and these meetings might need to last a little bit longer than 4 minutes.
Again, I'm looking for specifics, what you want us to be looking for that we aren't doing now.
And,
Go ahead.
every one of those, even the claim you talked about, was open to the public. They could have mentioned.
It's amazing that he knows specifically what claim I'm talking about. It's interesting that he knows about that. That's interesting. But then his answer also here is just a completely dumbass answer.
Could have come in.
Sure. I understand that you also say that, Ted. But again, these meetings last they're at 9:00 in the morning. And again, a lot of other Board of Works meetings around the state for cities our size aren't then. So, I'm just saying for the transparency, this administration ran on transparency, slowing government down, and doing all of that. You guys work for this administration. So, if
Bottom line is, here's the mic drop moment.
it's not a concern for this administration, it's not a concern.
Thank you. Okay. Any other comments or questions from the public?
If transparency is not a concern for this administration, then it is not a concern. That's all that Ridenhour has to say. Ridenhour has to come out and say, I lied in 2018 and I lied in 2019. And then I lied again when I ran for re-election in 2023.
I have a question, Kristopher.
Transparency and communication, slowing government down, and accountability was not important to me then. It's not important to me now. Yes, Kate?
So he said the public could bring up some of these claims if they had concerns. Okay. Do they have a published list there at the meetings for the public to look over of the claims that they're discussing?
Nope.
When are they put online and made available to the public?
Afterwards.
So how is the public going to ask any questions about any claim that they are voting on in this meeting without any knowledge of what those claims are?
Very good. I will go back next Wednesday and I will address those issues with him. I will say just that. Since I went away, I've thought about what you guys have said, and
you're full of shit.
Rebuttal to that. Yeah, that absolutely. GW, how do we petition for an evening time for these meetings? Contact the mayor. Yeah, and it would take a lot of people contacting the mayor, but that's not going to be it. You're going to need to contact the mayor. You're going to need to contact all of the council people, push the council people, tell them that you want them and expect them to push the mayor, that these meetings need to be held when more people can be there. You could also email these people, and it's going to take more than you. It's going to take more than me. It's going to take a lot of citizens to do it. It's going to take us doing it over and over and over, because this is something that a lot of people have talked about various points. And so it's going to take full court. It's going to take full court press constantly, all the time, every day. And I'm going to tell you exactly what they're going to say, because the county does the same thing. The county's going to say, well, these meetings happen and the employees that are there, well, they're getting paid, so we'd have to really move things around. Most of the people that appear before this that are city employees are salary. So they're getting paid whether they're at work or not at work or whatever. So if one day a week they got to come in a few hours late so they can stay and attend a Board of Works meeting at 6 o'clock at night, then do it. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, honestly. So that's that. I'm just absolutely disgusted by this board. I'll show you here. They end at this point.
Okay, having none, motion to adjourn, or we adjourn. Thank you.
Thank you. He gets so flustered. They get so scared. I walked out of there. I'm sure that they sat down there and they sat and they heed and they hawed with the police sergeant and the guy from the Shriners, and no one understands how crazy Kristopher Bilbrey is. Look, I'm fine. I can wear that. I've got no problem. But it's sad that this is what it is. And it's blind stupidity that allows this. Because I'm going to tell you, Rafus is not an idiot. I know the police officer. I know him personally. He's not an idiot. And I'm sure that gentleman from the Shriners isn't dumb. But they're going to listen to what these nice people say. And, I was a little upset and I was angry. And so I'm definitely the one that's out of line, and there's no way. And now it probably doesn't matter what came out. Honestly, it does not matter probably at this point what came out. The guy from the Shriners and Mike Rafus will never believe that something's wrong here. It'll always be Kristopher Bilbrey was being mean to these poor Board of Works members. And that is why we have 5% voter turnout, and why people like Susan Hoon and Brad Bookout and Missy Williams and Rich Wine get elected and reelected and reelected and reelected over and over and over again, because of dumbass voters. Because education is not important. Being nice is important. Being nice is important. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Board of Works. I'm going to stay on them, and I'm going to keep pushing them on this and see what happens. We will let you know. I give it another meeting or two before they do something stupid and make me yell, and then they call the police in, and it's a big ordeal, because that always happens. They generally let me come in about 2 or 3 meetings before they have the police interject. So keep tuned in. That will be fun. From now, I was told that Muncie is one of the very few second-class cities in Indiana. The Board of Works members don't get paid. Roger, that's probably very true. I'm telling you, if you guys go look up on YouTube, Bloomington, Indiana Board of Public Works and Safety. Look up Marion Board of Works. Look up Fort Wayne. Look up other places. Okay, it's very interesting to see the difference, the level of professionalism held at other locations, as opposed to what we have. It's very, very crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, from there, we are now going to slip over to the Henry County, the Henry County news release that was released from the Fox 59 out of Indianapolis news agency, released a new article, story, I don't know, a segment, I don't know what you want to call it. There's video and written content to this, so we're going to go through this and let you guys see this. I think it's very important, and I think that it's very important for the folks of Henry County to hear and see this. I want to pull this up. First off, we're going to, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. The video piece is about 4 minutes, so we're going to watch that, and then we'll come back with my commentary. This is something that we've covered. We have covered this here. Matter of fact, we covered it the day of the pursuit, the evening of the pursuit. We trying trying to get this to upload here. We covered this the very night of the pursuit. But I will let you hear from their perspective, and we'll go from there. Let me get this blown up here. It's on your screen. All right, here we go.
Has been looking. Well, maybe months before we know if the driver pursued in a deadly police chase in Muncie was intoxicated.
The Delaware County Prosecutor's Office confirms it has ordered a blood draw test for the driver, Zachary Antrim. He's accused of leading police on a chase that ended when his car crashed into another vehicle in Muncie. A passenger in Antrim's vehicle was killed.
Antrim now faces several charges, including 6 felonies. Chief Investigator Steve Brown has been looking into that police pursuit and just found a key safety element in that chase was missing. Steve, what's the word here?
Well, Dan and Cheryl, police pursuits are dangerous by their very nature, and this pursuit was initiated by Henry County Deputy Tanner Strelecki, who has no prior law enforcement experience. Our review found this first-year deputy conducted the high-speed pursuit without supervision.
I'm on State Road 3 in Delaware County, about a mile north of the county line. That's possible 1055. Can you start another unit my way, please? They're swerving all over the roadway.
It was just after 6 a.m. and the start of the pursuit looked like this. Heading north on State Route 3, a divided 4-lane. The speed limit is 60. Strelecki reported they were doing 80. For safety purposes, we drove this portion of the road at a lower speed and are showing you the video sped up so you get a true sense of how fast the suspect vehicle and the deputy squad car were traveling. Quickly, the chase was inside the Muncie city limits. Zooming north on Macedonia Avenue, the road reduces to 2 lanes through a residential neighborhood where the posted limit quickly drops from 45 to 30 to 20 because there are 2 schools along the street that are beginning to fill.
We're in heavy traffic, excess of 90 miles an hour. They just ran another red light.
It was about this time someone on the radio asked Strelecki,
30 is Muncie or Delaware County in the pursuit. I don't have eyes on him anywhere.
It is unclear what Muncie PD knew about the police pursuit tearing through their city, but minutes later, it was over.
Dispatch 1050, Tillotson to McGallier, 1050, start medics.
The driver of the pursued vehicle, Zachary Antrim, was treated for his injuries, arrested, and charged. A passenger in Antrim's vehicle, 25-year-old Nicholas Willems of Muncie, was killed in the crash. But in the 13 and a half minutes of radio transmissions during that entire police pursuit, there is no guidance offered to that first-year deputy. No discussion on whether the chase had become too dangerous. No supervision. That's confirmed by Henry County Sheriff John Sproles in an email. Day Shift Sergeant Blake Thresher was on duty, but not actively involved in the pursuit. Therefore, there was no reason for him to intervene on the radio. But the state's minimum standards for police pursuits notes an important supervisory role. The decision to terminate a pursuit can be made by either the officer or any supervisor. The Indiana Law Enforcement Academy's Emergency Vehicle Operations Manual is more direct. All pursuits should be supervised. Instead, first-year Deputy Strelecki was solely in charge of decision-making in a pursuit that resulted in a fatal crash. And we've previously reported Strelecki was hired by the Henry County Sheriff's Department last July, but only began his police academy training on April 29th, a week and a half after the deadly police pursuit. Now, there was an internal review of the police chase by the Henry County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Sproles tells us the review found Deputy Strelecki did not violate department policies or procedures, and the deputy was not disciplined. But Delaware County Prosecutor Eric Hoffman says when the crash investigation is complete, additional charges are possible, including against Strelecki. Steve Brown, Fox 59 investigates.
Steve, thank you. We know you'll stay on top of that.
All right.
I thought Sproles said he was fully trained. That to me implies he'd been to ILEA.
No. So here's the deal.
Okay.
There's so much nuance in this. So, and listen, rightfully so, this is complete bullshit. All right. So in the state of Indiana, oh man, this is going to be in the state of Indiana, all anybody needs to be a police officer, at least for the first year, is what's called a 40-hour pre-basic. And what that is a 40 hours of class time. All right. 40 hours of class time from academy trained instructors, not instructors from the academy, meaning if you might have a 10-year veteran on the Henry County Police Department, maybe he's went back to the academy and he has become an instructor in firearms. And you might have someone from the Albany Police Department that is a instructor in emergency vehicle operations. And then you have someone from the Yorktown Police Department that is an instructor in defensive tactics. So they get together, those officers that are just regular police officers, but have also been through instructor development, and they will put on training classes throughout the year all over Indiana. And it's where the new hires go, or reserves. New hires or reserves go to the 40-hour pre-basic. And at that 40, so when I'm saying 40-hour pre-basic, like, I'm not trying to confuse you guys. It's not like 40 hours for several weeks. It's a 40-hour period. So 1 work week of training. And what they normally do is kind of the insider. Some of the lesser departments will do like, hey, we're going to do like 6 hours training tonight. Come and we'll do like 3 hours training. And then we'll sit around and shoot the shit and eat some food. Okay. So they'll do classes on like some very, very minor civil law, classes on criminal law, classes on your Miranda warnings, defensive tactics instructor classes, firearms classes, like CPR, and different things like that. And one of those classes is a very, very minor behind the wheel of a car. Here's your sirens. Here's your horn. Here's the gas. Here's the pedal. Drive around here in a circle at the high school for a little bit. And okay, sign you off on your 40-hour pre-basic. Once you've done that pre-basic, you go, you raise your hand, you swear an oath, they sign it, they take your picture, they give you your police badge and ID, and you are now a law enforcement officer in the state of Indiana, and that accreditation that you have lasts for 1 year. Within that year, you now have to go to the academy. A lot of bigger departments will try to, what they do is they will hire you, take you through the 40-hour pre-basic, and then they put you with a field training officer. And you're not driving the car, you're not making decisions, you're in the passenger seat, and you're being trained by a field training officer. And you might do that for 3 months, and then you go to the academy, you get your 16 weeks, then you come back and you do more field training, and then you are cut loose. Some of them hire you and send you straight to the academy if they can, but the academy only takes classes so often because it's a 15-week and then 1 week graduation course that they go through. And so what happens is, at the end of the day, you will have some departments where you will have someone do a 40-hour pre-basic. They'll do a little bit of time with a field training officer, and they will cut them loose. Now, I don't know what the deal is with Strelecki. I don't know what his field training was like or whatever. So technically, under the law, he was trained to be in the position he was in. As far as the pursuit, I don't give a shit what they said. Any supervisor, period, anybody on the road that had been on longer than him should have got on and told that kid, cut it. That kid should have had the wherewithal to stop. But sometimes, and I'm not talking just for cops, but we all know what adrenaline does. We all know what tunnel vision is. And sometimes we all get into that. And you need somebody that is outside of that adrenaline rush, outside of that tunnel to say, whoa, you need to back off. Generally, what will happen is they will say, you need to stop and come see me. Come signal 8 with me. Come meet with me to make sure that they're not still finding a way to find them. They'll make them come to them and meet me in a different place of the area and have some other officer. Now, if some other officer wants to tail the guy and find a way like, all right, hey, we followed them to a house, they're getting out, and now it's a foot pursuit or whatever, awesome, cool. That's great. But they need to do something to stop this. Now, I will tell you, I have heard from plenty of law enforcement officers that are either current, have been in the past, or are currently employed with the Henry County Sheriff's Department that say their official, unofficial policy is chase it till the wheels fall off. Now, that used to be a very common theme in law enforcement. Chase it till the wheels fall off. You know, or you run out of gas, or he runs out of gas, or something. But a lot of places have changed that because there's actually a law that determines this now. And I'll be honest, I think that Strelecki broke the new law. I think that he did. I think that he can definitely be charged. And I think there's more than a 50% chance that he is going to be charged. And it is what it is. But this comes back to the absolute absolutely out of control culture that Sheriff Sproles, it almost makes me recoil wanting to say that. John Sproles, he doesn't have the wherewithal to be called Sheriff Sproles. I respect the office. I don't respect that man in the office. He is tainting the office of sheriff. The culture that he has created at that department is one of, like, you know, wild, wild west. Worse than the wild, wild west. And it's very, very, very dangerous. Yes, that new law that I'm referring to is 1,000% covered in the 40-hour pre-basic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I have pictures and all that crap of the whole Sproles Academy thing. I know that Sproles doesn't get on with the Academy very well. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a total tool because it doesn't matter if he likes them or not. His guys have to go there and become certified through ILEA. And it's like Sproles' mission in life is to pick fights with people. No, I did not see that. Can you if it's something that he has done, I won't be able to see it because we're blocked. So you might have to share it to me, Jeff, if you have pictures.
Screenshot it and send it to me, or send me the link.
Yeah, that would be good. And the other thing I'm going to tell you 1,000%. 1,000%. I said every bit of what we have just heard from the Fox 59 story. I said that the night of this pursuit. I said that there was no one involved. The two other people that were involved from Henry County, they were also driving around at high speeds around Muncie, trying to figure out where the hell Strelecki was, with Strelecki giving different, I'm going east, I'm going west, I'm going north, I'm going south, I don't know where I'm going, I'm here, I'm there. They're driving around at high speeds with lights and sirens on, also through Muncie, which is also dangerous at various points. Those were two ignorant decisions to do. And the fact that nobody called this circle jerk off is insane. It should have been called off, period. The other thing I want to point out to you, and you can go back and watch this the night of this accident, when we talked about it, I said something that I was concerned of when we listened to the traffic was that Sproles, this is very, very, very important. Sproles responded to the scene of the accident where the pursuit ended from his home. And I didn't show you guys that, but I mapped it out on MapQuest for whatever from the corner at Tillotson and McGalliard to Sproles' home. It's about 35 miles, and it's not a 35 miles straight shot. It's a little jiggity jaggedy to get there, okay? He responded to the scene from his home in about 16 minutes. Now, that would give the appearance that he wasn't notified of this pursuit and then got dressed and headed there. In my opinion, and I'm just going to make this is going way out on opinion here, he was listening to this on the radio. And I'm telling you, it's going to be real easy to prove this. And I'm going to say it because I don't even have to hide this, because there's nothing he can do to cheat it. Tomorrow, because of all of this, I am going to be submitting a record request to the Henry County Sheriff's Department for the GPS data on his vehicle, because I know all of the vehicles have it. And I'm going to be submitting a records request for the GPS data on Mr. Sproles' vehicle before this accident and up and until. And I'm going to tell you, if he was in a police car and on the radio listening to this and driving that way, I don't even know. I don't know what will I don't know. It will be very, very bad. It won't be good. I'm going here to get this message here. Let me see what we've got. 9 photos. Ooh, all of you are sending me photos now. I see. Okay. Oh, wow.
He wrote a damn book.
Wow. Holy crap. I would almost ask him if he had a ghostwriter, but we'll see here. Here we'll
No, if you look at the last sentence, it's definitely Sproles that wrote it.
Okay, all right. Well, all right. So let's go through this comment that this man, Sproles, something is wrong with this dude. This is sick. I am shocked. This is Henry County Sheriff. Wow. He's wrote this from his official page. This is nuts. I am shocked at the outright lies by Steve Brown. Steve Brown and Fox 59, you should be ashamed of this blatantly false reporting. You owe your audience and my officer an apology. Following is an email sent to me from Steve Brown with questions regarding the pursuit. Sheriff, attached is an emergency driving manual produced by the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. The section on pursuit driving begins on page 106. In that section, it states all pursuits should be supervised. It goes on to say that supervision should come from someone not involved in the pursuit who is capable of making objective decisions, including whether to terminate the pursuit. Today, we retraced the route based on the positions Deputy Strzelecki gave over the radio during the pursuit on April 18th. A portion of the pursuit traveled north on South Macedonia Avenue in Muncie, which includes speed limits quickly decreasing from 45 miles an hour to 30 and then to 20. As the streets pass two schools, Deputy Strzelecki stated on the radio at different points that he was traveling at 80 and then in excess of 90 in heavy traffic. On multiple occasions, Deputy Strzelecki reported that the suspect vehicle nearly caused an accident. That was before the collision at Tillotson and McGalliard then resulted in multiple injuries and one death. This all leads to several questions. What emergency driving training had Deputy Strzelecki completed before he started the Law Enforcement Training Academy this week? In retrospect, was it prudent to leave a first-year deputy unsupervised during this pursuit? Has your department completed a review of the pursuit? If so, is there a report with conclusions of that review? If so, may I have a copy of that report? Was Deputy Strzelecki or other on the department disciplined in any way in relation to the pursuit? Will your departmental policy on pursuits change as a result of this April 18th pursuit? Thank you, Steve Brown, Chief Investigator. My email reply to Steve. Steve, following is my response to your questions in your email. I trust this is all inclusive. Tanner completed the ILEA required 40-hour pre-basic course, July 10th through 14th, 2023. This is the only training requirement by the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy Training Board for a full-time officer to have full police powers for 1 year from his or her hire date. Successful completion of the Tier 1 basic course at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy is required to maintain full police powers beyond 1 year. On July 17th, 2021, Tanner had department training that included stop-stick training, emergency vehicle operations training, which includes training on our pursuit policy, dispatch, and jail training. He started his formal field training on July 24th, 2023, and completed it on October 26th, 2023, with a total of 588 hours during the field FTO portion. This would mean Tanner had nearly 600 hours of additional training beyond the training required by the ILEA prior to him working solo. As stated in a previous email, we had a day shift sergeant on duty and supervising the pursuit. All on-duty officers in our county are always clearly aware of who is on duty and who the supervisor is. We prefer to keep the radio channel clear of all unnecessary communication as to leave the channel available for the officer who is directly involved in the situation. Upon review of the radio traffic, it is very clear that Tanner was completely calm and collected, and there was no need for a supervisor to intervene. Folks, that line right there, listen to me. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to be really honest. If you live in Henry County, and this is so horrible because I know that there are so many that don't. If you live in Henry County and you have the means and the wherewithal to move out of Henry County, you should do so. Because that sentence right there lets me know that John Sproles is not a sane individual. Upon review of the radio traffic, it is clear that Tanner was completely calm and collected, and there was no need for a supervisor to intervene, other than the fact that, like, the third or fourth sentence he utters on the radio during the pursuit is, "We are now entering heavy traffic in Muncie at speeds of 90 miles an hour." A supervisor at that moment should have intervened, period. And the fact that you don't know that, Sproles, goes to show you why you will always and forever be known as the permanent FNG. I'm sure that Tanner, quite possibly, is more capable of handling the department than you are. I am concerned that in your 3 years of being a pretty boy in a uniform, you learned nothing of actual value to be a leader on the department. That sentence right there is the most ignorant, idiotic sentence ever imaginable. Your officer was involved with a pursuit that resulted in a fatality. The crash report is not back yet. There have been no decisions on this yet. And that you can say, well, because I think he's okay. No, you can't make that determination yet. That's insane. You can almost always discern an officer's ability to remain objective during an emergency situation simply by the level of stress the officer portrays in his or her radio traffic. That is also ignorant. Tanner's radio traffic would rank very high among the calmest pursuit radio traffic available. Everything is optics to John. He applies no common sense to any of this. In regard to the 80 and 90 mile an hour callouts, both of those were still on State Road 3. I am not certain as to what Tanner meant by heavy traffic in that location. No. This is where, if he wants to call someone a liar, he was under the bridge. And for those of you that know what I mean, he was under the bypass. He was in that section where 3 becomes Macedonia when he says he was almost caused a 1050 there at Macedonia, which is 3 and 29th Street. That's right where he said speeds exceeding 90 miles an hour and in heavy traffic. That was not on. Yeah, I guess you could call it State Road 3, but it's 3 where it turned in. It was the same road as Macedonia. It was down to a 2-lane road there, you idiot. And he's like, heavy traffic at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's called rush hour, you tool. Other officers who came through that area immediately after, no one came through that area immediately after Tanner. I've listened to the traffic, my guy. They were through that area like 10 minutes after. Said traffic was very light and would be typical for that time of the morning. I personally am very used to patrolling our North State Road 3 area. I have never seen You better not be, hey, Sproles, don't be in my county, dude. That's stupid. You better not be that high up. That's ignorant. We have a competent sheriff here. I have never seen congested traffic as it's 2-lane each way divided. See, this is why he's an idiot, because he's no longer talking about divided 2-lane highway. He's now talking about city streets. divided by a grass median. 80 to 90 mile an hour traffic in that area is quite common. In fact, I made a traffic stop near our North County line on State Road 3 2 days ago for 85 miles an hour. That area is 60 mile speed limit. In regard to the areas on Macedonia, 45 miles and decreasing speed limits, again, it was right around 6 a.m. Schools were not in session, and per my other officers tailing the pursuit, traffic was light. It was also very clear that Tanner's body camera that he was slowing down for intersections and driving with due regard. Tanner might have been, but the car he's pursuing isn't. And the car he's pursuing, see, Sproles is just, again, this is what Sproles doesn't understand. The pursuing officer at the time he's pursuing is also now responsible for the vehicle that's driving away from him. So if Tanner would have backed off and turned off and left, the other car would have slowed down at some point. He's not just going to continue driving high speed recklessly. Oh, God. In regard to the statement of the suspect vehicle nearly causing several accidents, this would simply be more reason to attempt to stop the vehicle from continuing. The people of Henry County, you are not safe under this man. Any officer that witnesses a vehicle nearly cause a crash would or should attempt to stop such vehicle as to ascertain what the problem is and attempt to prevent an actual crash from happening. A review was conducted approximately 5 hours after the pursuit. Myself, Chief Deputy Smith, Captain Kovakis, and Pierce, which are all on board with the Sproles Kool-Aid. Okay, so those are all Sproles Kool-Aid drinkers. So you might as well be talking about the same human being. We thoroughly reviewed the statewide uniform pursuit policy as set forth by the Indiana Law Enforcement Training Board, as this is the pursuit policy we adopted last year. We also reviewed every minute of body camera footage and radio traffic, the entire pursuit on both. We determined that Tanner was constantly calm and in control of his decision-making faculties. We also determined that he used due regard in his driving and that he did not violate any department policy or procedures. No officer was disciplined. No printed report is available of this review. I also want to point out that the only other time a speed was called out was approximately 2 seconds before the crash was called out. This means the crash possibly occurred within 1 actual second of that speed being called out. There is a high probability that Tanner and or the supervising sergeant would not have continued in the pursuit once that condition had been established and recognized. Sproles does not have the ability to say we screwed up. That's why Sproles is always going to pick the wrong path. He does not have the ability to say I made a mistake. Okay? There is a high probability that Tanner and or the supervising sergeant would not have continued the pursuit once that condition had been established and recognized. In regard to your question about the possibility of changes in our pursuit policy, which is precisely the policy set forth by the ILE Training Board, I intend to always be reflective of and mindful of the need to critically and continually review and monitor all actions and policies, especially in cases where serious injury or death is a potential outcome. We are currently working on updating all of our standard operating policies. In late 2023, we hired Lexpro Corporation to assist us in this regard. We are still in the process of implementing this change. The pursuit policy most certainly will be of special interest to me as we address this high liability issue. As I have stated before, nobody wins when someone is injured and a situation like this. Injured, and in a situation like this, everyone loses when someone dies. It is unthinkable to me that the suspect would do such a thing as to knowingly and intentionally flee from law enforcement, and in doing so cause such tragedy for all involved. In retrospect, it would appear that he had no respect for law or life, as his criminal history would show that he was a troubled person. Him having a gun in his waistband and a round jammed in the chamber would give the appearance that other deadly intentions or actions could have been afoot. His actions caused serious injury and death, and for that I am grieved. I bet. My prayers are with the victims and their families. Respectfully, John M. Sproles, Henry County Sheriff. And we wonder why we have hard time recruiting officers. Not sure I have ever been more shocked. Fox 59, this is sickening. I mean, I honestly don't have anything else to say. That guy is scary. No, Ryan, I disagree. I don't think he's good at spinning a story. I think he is completely out of his gourd. I think he is as far from being good at spinning. Anybody with, and I don't mean this as, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you, because I get where you were going at there. But anybody that has spent any time in law enforcement at all knows that that is the biggest amount of crap that possibly could ever be written. No printed report of an incident involving someone getting killed. So what did they do? Sit around, talk for 2 minutes, and say nothing to see here. We're good. So yeah, that's good. I get what you're saying. The most important reports are going to come from the city of Muncie and from ISP. Those are going to be the two big reports. Those are going to be the crash reconstruction reports, and I'm in the process of getting all of those.
Yeah, but you're reviewing an incident that involved death, and you don't have a written.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. This should go to their review board. This should be should be handled the same as if God forbid Strelecki would have been chasing after somebody, and someone would have turned around and pulled out a handgun, and Strelecki would have pulled his pistol and said, "Hey, stop, put your gun down," and the guy wouldn't have. And if Strelecki would have popped off 3 rounds in the chest and killed him and had to go before the review board, this should be going before that same review board. This should not be something that should just be like, well, we talked about it for 5 hours, me and a bunch of my Kool-Aid drinkers, and we said that everything's okay, so everything's okay. That is not how this should be handled. Absolutely, beyond all shadow of a doubt. This is insane, and it should not. See here. So, oh man, I literally don't know what to say. I honestly, Sproles is. Oh, and this is what's horrible. This is what's absolutely insane. Is now Fox 59 has not only the sheriff, but the chief deputy sheriff in the comments making comments on this. They're literally talking about a current active investigation. The chief deputy of the Henry County Sheriff's Department says Fox 59, or should I say chief investigator in parentheses, Steve Brown. It turns out by reading the comments that people aren't as dumb as you think they are. People see right through your spin and misrepresentation of the facts. I think it's highly inappropriate and highly unusual that you have not only the sheriff, but the chief deputy sheriff commenting like that. This is nuts. It leaves me stunned. I mean, I honestly, I had watched the report. I did not know anything about the comments in there, and I should have known. I should have known that John was going to pull something like this, because this is just how he does things. But I mean, I'm going to tell you, I can't. I'm just going to tell you, like, I gotta tell you this. So the sheriff recently took a deposition for the lawsuit that we are involved in. And while I can't currently at this time release that deposition publicly, I can tell you that if you simply, one of these days, we will be able to have a theatrical reading. Oh, come on here. We got to do that. I want to, I don't know. Brandon, are you on here? I know you've been texting in the private chat. I don't know if I want to, so it'll have to be me, you, and Brandon, because there's my attorney, there's Sproles, and there's Sproles' attorney.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it would be better for, I think Brandon could do a really good deadpan Gavin Rose, because he knows Gavin.
Yes.
So you would probably have to be Sproles' attorney.
Okay.
I would be Sproles, and he could be Gavin, and we could do a reenactment of the deposition, and that would be amazing. Like, I think that would be highly viewable.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be.
I think we'd have to do like some greatest hits.
Yeah, I got to find out when I can release it and what I can do and what I can't do. So there's technically not anything by law that stops me, but my attorney said don't release it at this time. So I can't release it at this time. But there might be at some point. Sounds like his deposition was that ridiculous. Yeah, listen, it's mighty bizarre what occurred, and just his way. Again, it goes in to show his way of thinking. But
it did get me digging into some interesting things that I sent to you in the group. So
yeah, I haven't looked at those. I will look at those as soon as this is off. But yeah, I'm glad for that. I saw that you started looking into that stuff, so that will be interesting to look at. Well, very good. I just wanted to pull you up here for that. So
okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. So, all right there, folks. That was me. That was you. There you go. Sorry. I was putting you down. Was someone plugging into a guitar amplifier at your house?
The windows are open.
Yeah.
And it's 11 o'clock.
Oh, it's the bells. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's it. So yeah, that's it, folks. I just, those are the two things I wanted to talk about. I will tell you, for those of you that are interested in this story, listen, I'm grateful that Steve's covering this. We covered this back when it first happened on the 18th of April. I'm glad that there are other people now covering this, and basically it just gives validation to the things that I was saying back then. I've talked to law enforcement from all over the state on this, and literally everybody that has talked to me about this in law enforcement has said, your analysis on the 18th was right. What you've said about this is right. What Sproles is saying about this is wrong. And so it's like that. I don't know. Very, very interesting. So I will tell you, Kate has put the link there. You can also find the link to the story. You can find the link to the story on my Facebook page. You can also find the link to the Board of Works meeting. If you want to watch it again, you can find it on Facebook, but you can also find it in the description of this episode. And I've also put the link to the description, the link to the sheriff's deal on Fox 59. I've put that in the description of this episode, so you can go back and watch that and read that if you so like. I want to let you guys know that Fox 59 is going to have some kind of other story tomorrow. So for you, those of you that have been watching this, tune into that. It should, I don't know when it'll hit. It should be sometime tomorrow afternoon to sometime tomorrow evening. So be on the lookout for that. We will obviously talk about that as well. And we also have the Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting tomorrow. I think I'm going to try to attend that, so I'll keep you guys posted. And we will go from there. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. We will be back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Thank you all for everything. If you have not done the YouTube stuff, please go over here and do these. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the show with everyone you know. Take care of yourselves. God bless. Have a great evening, and we will see you next time. Good night. Goodbye. God bless. Bye.
Oh no, E-Jack, there would still be a show.